A very good morning to all, and I welcome everyone to this important workshop which will be organized by Mission Energy Foundation on Deviation Settlement Mechanism. We are today connected to all the utilities from Maharashtra to talk on this important subject and to resolve the issues in implementation of the regulations by MERC. I have the important dignitaries with me who would join us today. And due to some issues or some exergies and important issues, Mr. Asim Kumar Gupta, Shri Sanjay Khandareji and Shri Dinesh Wagmareji will not be able to join us today. I wish this deliberation today is knowledgeful and enriching. Importantly, before proceeding further, I would like to inform everyone that the networking launch, which is for the networking where you see tables and chairs in the morning, this is an very interesting platform where you can meet people, greet people, and network with them via video conferencing. During the pandemic times, it is very difficult for us to meet people, and conferences and workshops are one area where we come to network with people. So we didn't wanted to miss any kind of opportunities, and that is the reason we selected this particular platform where people can interact with each other in this pandemic times also. I hope the networking launch was a resourceful tool for everyone and people liked it. I have Mr. Soonee with us. Shri Soonee is the advisor for the Power System Operations Corporation, that is POSOCO. And I would request Shri Soonee to welcome the gathering.
Thank you very much. Good morning, Mr. Ashwini Kumar. It's a pleasure to have around 50 people, those who love DSM. DSM, I have a half an hour or 40 minute slot to talk about on its philosophy and evolution. But I must say that having a workshop specifically for this topic is commendable. And it's only states like Maharashtra, one of the largest state in the country, that they have come up with separate regulation and working seriously on this topic. I understand that diverse stakeholders have joined, right from generating company to distribution companies and transmission companies and other stakeholders. It's very essential that we understand the philosophy, the nuances of the regulation, and put in our best foot forward so that it gets implemented with the right spirit, and state power system improves, thereby the national power system improves, more economy is caused, and it also strengthens the grid security. So with this, on behalf of everyone, I also join the organizers in welcoming all the participants. Good morning, everyone. Once again, I thank organizers, Mission Energy, for giving me this opportunity to interact with you for 30-45 minutes on philosophy and evolution of DSM. It goes back a couple of decades, and what I would try to do is at a very high level how the whole thing has evolved, and this is a unique one which is applicable in India, so it will be good to trace the entire history, the evolution part of it. So first of all, let me show this diagram. If you are having a market, or if you want to have market, you must have these 4 pillars. That's what Sally Hunt has said in her seminal book, Making Competition Work in Electricity. There was an earlier book by her, which was with Graham Shuttleworth. The book name is Competition and Choice in Electricity. By the way, Sally Hunt is an economist, was an economist. She expired a couple of years back. She was from UK, went to US, came back to UK to live with her grandchildren, and then, but being an economist, she understood power system so well that she could, give the basic pillars of market design. So what are these? First is the scheduling and dispatch. Schedules are nothing but contracts. If you want to have market, you have to have schedules. Otherwise, it becomes as delivered. Then you can't have different rates and different times. So scheduling and dispatch is a must. And electricity is never delivered in exact. You are either long or short. So you will have an imbalance. So how to handle imbalance? And that imbalance is nothing but deviation or inadvertent interchange. India got its scheduling and dispatch pillar in 2001 and imbalance almost parallelly in 2002. Other pillars like congestion management, ancillary, we got much later. So these are the 2 pillars of market design. When you talk of deviation settlement, is nothing but imbalance mechanism. But the interesting thing about it is that how is this imbalance settled? And why in India we coupled it with frequency and things like that. So let me try to dwell on it. So we were talking about these 4 pillars. Now we move forward. So as I said, that imbalance, inadvertent interchange and deviation, they are all synonymous. But look at the word inadvertent. If you look at the dictionary, it is not intended. That's the basic idea. That means you don't want to deviate, but some deviation takes place. And inadvertent interchange has 3 components. It has energy component, it has transmission component, it has frequency control component. That is what Northeastern Reliability Council of US has in its Joint Interchange Task Force way back in 2002. There is a report. There was no consensus on that, but this report is of great interest. If any of you are interested, I have given the hyperlink. You can go through that. And there are persons like Robert Bloom who says that hassle factor also is important. So now there is an echo. Yeah. So that was way back in 2002. But prior to that, in 1989, all the electrical engineers, those who are in spot pricing and other things, know Fred Schweppe, who was also the author of State Estimator. He, along with Arthur Berger, who later migrated to telecom, in 1989 did a work, and they called the spot pricing and linking the whole thing with the frequency. And it says that the key feature of this pricing scheme is that an independent power plant can themselves monitor the frequency deviation, and thus no real-time signal needs to be sent to the electric utility. This eliminates the problem of how the utility could compute and transmit the price faster than the time scale to be controlled. What a powerful statement. Means the basic assumption that individuals can't control the price has been challenged. That individuals cannot control the frequency is challenged. And that is the basic strength which we have derived. And then Sally Hunt has said that the right price for imbalance is a market-based price. A market-based price for imbalance energy is incentive compatible. So there are beautiful quotes. You can go through all this to understand the basic things. And there has been almost a dozen interventions ever since the DSM started in India, and there have been efforts towards tightening of frequency, changing the rates, changing the slope, and the result is before us. Frequency, which used to vary from 48 to 52, have gradually come closer to 50. There are many other efforts also, but DSM has had its singular effect on this. Incidentally, I would like to share with you, if you go to National Archive in Delhi and look at the World War Chronicles, you will see that frequency was used as a signal for civil defense. That means you lower the frequency, automatically the sirens will start, and when you raise the frequency, there's a cutoff frequency and the siren stops. That was the technique used for civil defense emergency declaration using frequency. Now, it's a very powerful story. It means at that time, when the communication was not so strong, when this all things, but using this technique, they could send the signal to the entire area. And this is what we borrowed from the Schweppes paper and this World War history. That we coupled the price of imbalance with frequency. Frequency is known to everyone, and hence one can do that. So, I will go through how the frequency was gradually tightened. It is like an orthodontist trying to improve the smile. Gradually, it was done. Another story also, I must say that, in late 90s, when we used to have a lot of disturbances and other things, we wrote a paper on quality of supply and presented to Institution of Engineers Electrical Engineering Department, and it was rejected because electrical engineers were absolutely passionate about 50 hertz. They said that no, anything other than 50 hertz we don't agree to, and they said that the proposal is like selling family silver, and it was not accepted. Then we went to production engineering department in mechanical engineering, where they linked the quality and production and things like that. And there this paper was accepted. That was way back in 90s. So we have to convert our weakness into strength. That's the story which I wanted to say. And there is nothing to feel very defensive or apologetic about it. In fact, now ESCOM, South African Power Pool, is using this. And it is something which I thought that I will share with all of you. So how has this been? We had chronic shortage. Load used to follow generation. Generation was always maximized, and we used to control load. This was, and there were experts who had only knew how to manipulate the load curve. In fact, some of the states in India, they simply inverted their load curve. Minimum load was during evening peak and maximum load was during night by shifting agriculture and other things. So that's how the era of shortage. And the frequency was floating. So what we did in India, where we were enlarging footprints, synchronous balancing area, connect each other and take advantage of diversity and better inertia and things like that. And that's how 5 regions were got connected. And each one alone could not have survived because there were not enough mechanism of governors and reserves and telemetries. So interconnection was the thing. Then as we were harnessing diversity, the frequency band was gradually tightened. And then first grid code said frequency will remain between 49 to 50.5. Today, when we look back, this is a too large band, but that's how it started. and the primary response was mandated, but primary response expected the band to be tight and things like that. And then gradually, then Act 2003, open access, market came, and then the DSM was used as a passive balancing through imbalance price signal. But again, we had 2012 a disturbance where this mechanism was abused, so that UI mechanism was changed to DSM, and the band was tightened. There was a volume cap and other things. I'll talk about that. So this was another stage. And then gradually now we have reached adequacy. I will not call surplus capacity, but adequate capacity. So now generation is following the load. There is no more load shedding. And hence optimization becomes very important. So besides passive balancing, now we are thinking in terms of active balancing through reserves and ancillary services. Anyone who is interested in detail can read the report Santulan on FOR website. And 50 hertz has been set as frequency, as a target frequency. It's no more floating frequency concept with which we started. And now AGC and security constrained economic dispatch and so many other things have come. So this is the journey from shortage to adequacy, from wide changing in frequency to narrowing the frequency and introducing market and economy and efficiency. So if you look at the evolution from 2002, we started, the frequency was 49 to 50.5. The slope was changed around 3 times. It started with 4 rupees 20, then 6.75, then 8 rupees. For some time, it was even 10 rupees. But what we were changing was only the slope. And that highest price was linked to the diesel price and the costliest generation. 2010 onwards, there was a change. We narrowed the band. And 2011-12, it was made dual vector. Buy rate and sell rates were different, so that market should get introduced. So the band was tightened. So you can see these things in the link which I have shared. 2012, the band was further tightened, and slopes were changed. 2014 was a major change because it was after disturbance, and that was that from 0.02 hertz step we moved to 0.01 hertz step, and the slope was made very steep towards frequency above than 50, making it 0 at 50.05, and then in the lower side another slope. And 2018, there was the exhaustive study done again. And 2019, till now 2014, up to 2019, the vector, the rate at 50 hertz was still decided by the regulator, because we had no other reference price. But by this time, the market had stabilized. We were getting day-ahead market price all the time. And the regulators thought that it is best to couple the 50 hertz frequency with the market discovered price. And then again, the slope changes. But the ceiling of 8 rupees and 0 is still regulatory driven. So this is in just around a dozen interventions. One can look at the statement of reasons and those regulations to understand the nuances that how we reach to this place. So now pre-market link imbalance price had all the good things. It was real-time imbalance price. It promoted efficiency, merit order dispatch, information asymmetry reduced, known ex ante. It provided a feedback for automatic correction, and market power was diffused, and it was simple to calculate, no post-factor adjustment, and it had highest priority in payment and so many other things. But what it did not capture was that this vector was still a regulated price vector. It had not related to market. It did not value the time value of electricity. And geographical location was also not factored. And so that's why the change was required. And this report link, which I have given Central Commission Expert Group to review the principles of deviation settlement mechanism in 2017, which gave its report in 2018, and 2019 onwards, the 50 Hz price is now coupled to market. So what were the design considerations? So the design considerations are that what should be the reference frequency? The regulator could decide or couple it with the market. Price available for use as a reference for deviation settlement. What is the size of the market? Initially, there was no other market. Then UI was of the order of double digit, 9 to 10%. But gradually, it has reduced to now 2% or less. And now exchange and bilateral and real-time market, these percentage have increased. So we have moved towards organized market, and this is a very niche area, which is the intent also. The other difficulty which we had was that we have multiple power exchange. Now, multiple power exchanges produce multiple price points. So how to take that? So the larger exchange was taken as 80% and above. But of course, we have only one exchange, which is predominant exchange. The other one is not there. The other area was which should we take area clearing price or unconstrained market clearing price, particularly for cross-border deviation. But then, if there is a congestion, then area clearing price is taken. Otherwise, all the area clearing price are same as unconstrained market clearing price. But this is the location specific price. It becomes location. See, in electricity, time and location matters. This is very essential. So then next came the question of granularity and periodicity of price to be linked. Hello? Is it okay? Can I have a confirmation from the organizers? Hello?
I think that some Pradyuman wanted to raise his hands.
Okay, doesn't matter. So let me complete this then. But you have to in between tell me that yes, I am on. Otherwise, it should not happen that I am talking in blank.
Yes, okay. Sir. You're there. Yeah. You're there.
So the granularity and periodicity of price to be linked is very important. Should we link every 15-minute price? Should we link monthly price? Should we link daily price, weekly price? So for the time being, it is the daily average which has been linked, because we don't want too much volatility, but we also don't want that the price should remain flat even when the scenario has changed. The frequency band tightening. This took quite some time, as you know, that gradually, but now we have reached the band 49.95 to 50.05. This is the band. And I don't think we need to tighten it any further. Point of linking of DSM vector with the damp price, as I said, at 50 Hz we are linking the price. The slope is decided by ceiling and floor price. Ceiling and floor price could also tomorrow be linked to some other market maximum price or something like that once certain more maturity is reached. Besides all these, there is a volume limit also. The 12%, 150 megawatt. If you make only percentage, then the smaller states will have only very few megawatt. But if you make only flat, then the larger states will also be same. So there is a combination of limits in terms of megawatt as well as percentage, and the cap rates. The single or dual imbalance price is very important. We can have reciprocal price. We can cause an arbitrage by design in buy and sell rate. So these are all standard techniques to do that. The whole idea is to establish a truly inadvertent deviation. We don't want anybody to purposely dump power or draw excess power from the grid through this mechanism. This mechanism should be used only for inadvertent flows or some sudden exigency or sudden tripping. Otherwise, one should go to the organized products in the organized market. That's the basic idea and the design considerations. But actually, these are all almost as good as designing a control systems. How much time constant, how much feedback loop we give, how much is the gain factor, and you can draw a full-fledged Laplace transform, for this transfer function of this control system. So let me almost come to an end. In 2005, we had written a poem to convey what it has. It has 15 stanza. The color selection has been very carefully done, green and white. We want, green certificates and white certificates, energy efficiency, and as well as green component, and just missing the third one. We don't want to colorize it, but still. So let me just recite this, and that would be end of my presentation. So it is like this. The handsome guy economics fell in love with ethereal electricity. Their decade-long courtship is still a favorite talk of the city. They sang, you and I would change how things function, just provide us with floating frequency, commitment, and robust transmission. Their marriage UI was solemnized in the Commission's temple. Their nuptial knot was delayed due to opposition ample. It is an elegant union which is blossoming with time. Operation and settlement are now simple. Life is serene and sublime. Frequency is collectively controlled and democratically it is stabilized. The responsibility, they say, is ours and no one is now pressurized. The logistics are the same, but the world has changed around. There are incentives and disincentives. The bully is battered to the ground. UI achieves collective mission through the tools of non-cooperation. UI is a reflection of our ethos and a tribute to our cultural tradition. For optimization of resources, UI has been instrumental. It facilitates competition in a style unconventional. UI instills self-righteousness and upholds corporate sovereignty, offers freedom and choice, improves economy and efficiency. UI is hedgehog simple, an ode to game theory, Walrasian equilibrium, and a paean for Nash glory. Consumers' benevolent uncle, operators' friend, regulators' darling, and a means to an end. UI is the ultimate open access and the last provider, real-time pricing stretched to the limit, social welfare maximizer. Equitable, fair and efficient. UI is equitable, fair and efficient, has increased accountability, brings in natural merit order, enhanced security and reliability. UI is self-healing, self-dealing, provides a negative feedback, flattens the load curve and has a positive impact. The concept is pristine, and it has yielded positive result. So let's develop it further. This is all I wanted to show in the couple of slides, and I have given all the links. Stephen Stoff, another economist, in his book Power System Economics, in the settlement system, the two settlement system, it says that in a competitive market, the real-time prices are true marginal cost prices and the forward prices are just estimates. With this, I come to an end and I'll be very happy to take questions on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the knowledge-enriched presentation, which the audience definitely liked it. And I would request the audience to raise their hands so that we can take questions from them. The raise hand option is available down. Yes, I have Jayant Nivane here. I'm handing the mic to him.
Hello, sir.
Jayant Nivane.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear
Are
you.
you hearing me? Yeah, thank you for your nice presentation, sir. I wanted to know who is the handsome guy in that. Mr. Suresh Prabhu? Was he the handsome guy there?
No, this metamorphical. We are talking of
Yeah,
we are talking of economics. See, economics is a handsome guy, and ethereal electricity is the thing. So the union is between economics and electricity. That's the idea.
That idea was right, but I just wanted to know beyond the metaphor, because those reforms started in his tenure only.
Anyway, of course, that could be. He has been power minister in 2001-2 era. I know that. Yeah.
He was economist also.
Absolutely, he's a chartered accountant and rank holder. We know about his. And I have been, very blessed to have a lot of interaction with him.
Because I hail from his constituency. That's why.
I see.
Okay.
So, Mr. Nibane, you're done with your questions?
No, I have one more question, sir. Actually, our power plant, it's a very small power plant compared to all this. We are having only 28 megawatt power plant. And what our plant is in Mufussil area, not in urban area. And there are so many grid issues are there. Grid trippings, grid cascadings, snapping. So if that happens, who is accountable for that, and how that mechanism will work for us? Have you got my question?
Is this question to me?
Yeah.
Okay. So I am at a very high level. I have explained. I not able to get into the details of local issues. How they are. That would be the best identified Maharashtra local authorities.
Okay, but this problem is everywhere in India, no? Where the plants are located.
Gradually, the reliability of supply is increasing, and load shedding has now become history. So that's the first thing which we want to do.
Okay, then the technical, whom should I ask the technical question, Mr. Kandari or?
So the first is if you are in a distribution, then you should talk to your distribution operator what it is, and then he will in turn talk to the state load dispatch center, and there are government.
I am just foreseeing the danger that as we already accepted this mechanism, and if anything wrong happens from the grid side, then who is at the receiving end? We only will be there.
Probably your question can be answered during the day's time when we talk about the roles and duties of SLDC and WRPC, where Mr. Satyanarayan and will be there. So I think he will be the right person to ask.
Yes. Okay.
Binoy, you can proceed further.
Okay, good morning, Soonee. Good morning from Tadabot Trading. We have wonderfully explained how the imbalance system has evolved from 2002 to 2019. Now, as you are aware, the power market, if you see, is more of renewable energy that is being added up in the system. So, due to that, what further changes will come in DSM? What is your suggestion? Just want to hear from you.
Yeah. So, actually, the fact that the market and renewables are coming was written on wall a couple of decades ago. So everything which we are designing is keeping these two factors in mind. And it is perfectly compatible with renewables and market. It is, of course, left to the local regulators to decide the cap, how many times you can revise your schedule, and how to accommodate the peculiarities of every renewable. Those are there. But at the central level, there is a separate regulation for this purpose. What will be the rate for the renewable? That also there is a mechanism, and there is a mechanism of scheduling with the renewables. 16 times they can revise. Of course, solar can't be 16 times because in night it is certainly not there. So all those things are very much streamlined, and the deviation is also applicable on renewable but the nuanced deviation. That's the thing. So I would recommend that you please have a look at the central CRC regulation on scheduling of renewables and DSM for renewables. There is a separate treatment and chapter. But one thing is certain, that we have factored it pretty well. Forecasting is become a very serious business for renewables also. Hope it serves the purpose. Thank you. Thank you so much. But I was not able to communicate with others. So this 10 slides in half an hour, could I communicate the basic philosophy and history and the evolution, or not? That I would like to know from you.
Yes, sir. It was well explained. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I think, Dr. Rahul, you had something to ask.
No. I think Mr. Soonee had given a very nice presentation. I didn't have any question right now on this presentation.
Okay. So I think probably we don't have any questions further.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.